Hello and welcome to a Bergkamp Wonderland. This is the radio show for the Liverpool 5, Arsenal 5, in brackets, penalties 5-4 Carabao Cup post-game show. Well, thank you everybody in the chat box. I'll start with that first on positive notes. Who was first in there? I think it was Bag of Dicks. Got an early chat with in there. DJ Samuel, Gunner 93, J Rob's in there. Gabrielle came in nice and early with a donation for us as well. Thank you very much. I also mentioned where those donations will be going this month towards the end of the show. Some guy called Danny, the GFP, is in there. Ed Loud, fresh from his walk last weekend for the Palace game. But let's get into it and introduce the two people I've got with me. One of them was late, but it's probably not the one you'll think. So I'll introduce him first. Karl, how's it going? You weren't late.
No, I wasn't. No, my trains run better than NHS waiting time. So there's a reason for that. But hello, Josh. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you. I'm going to pass it immediately over to fight his corner. Ellis, how's it going? Give the big man some stick.
There's not much really to say about London Underground, is there really? Like, the NHS may be bad, but I don't think it'll ever be that bad, will it?
I mean, who kills more people in a year?
Let's
Right, let's get into the game. Right, let's talk about the lineups. Ellis, we kind of saw a big change from everybody in there. What did you make to this lineup? Hector Bellerin coming in as captain as well. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I wasn't too surprised about it. If you'd asked me who would be in the sort of back to fitness, so you measure Ozil, I thought, he'd probably get involved because that's the only games he seems to really get into at the moment. I thought Martinelli's got a start for his great form that he's had in the Europa League, and same for Xhaka. I was probably the only about was Bellerin. It does worry me because I think if the full 90 minutes today, I don't see him really getting into the Premier on the weekend. Yeah, I think as you could see, it represents the competition we're in, even though we are playing against Liverpool in the cannot really most. So that is really the team to put out there, and I think the best teams. I think if you were neutral, you could probably only name a handful of players on this team.
Yeah, definitely. Karl, any additional thoughts on the lineup, or should we start with the first goal?
Yeah, let's get straight into this. Let's get into the first goal. So,
can I before you unleash? Can I just say unlucky? It's very unlucky from the poor fucker.
No, I think it's just bad defending. So, initially the ball goes out wide. I'm sure it's to Ox, isn't it? And Ox plays the ball in. First of all, I just want to say I don't understand what Kolasinac is doing so high up the pitch. Leaves the guy to run. Leaves Chamberlain to run into the space in behind because he's so high up the pitch. Rob Holding tries to stop the cross, doesn't. Makes a decent try. Ball comes in. Now, Mustafi has Brewster behind him. So if he tries to trap the ball with his left leg, I think he gets it. But he goes with his right leg for some unknown reason. So, and it's very unlucky. The ball ricochets in off his right leg onto his left knee into the goal. If you tried that 10 times, it's never going to happen again. I totally understand. However, and we spoke about this in our group, Josh. Now he's got to go with his right leg. If he goes with his right leg, he can easily boot the ball into touch or up the pitch. Why he decides to slide, I have no idea. This thing about Mustafi likes to go to the ground, and I was one of the people who was like, oh, whatever, shut up. But he genuinely just likes to slide. that's the way he defends, and that's the way he's been taught to defend. And I guess so be it. But there's no reason for him not to go with his other leg. And I know you can say, that's his weak foot, but he's a professional footballer. Surely he can kick the ball with his other leg. And yes, it was unlucky, very, very unlucky. I totally understand. However, there's no excuse for that. That could have been prevented, and it's a typical Arsenal goal. Like we're our own worst enemy.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree with you that it's definitely unlucky. I'm not sure if he's fully to blame for it, though. I can see why he'd slide at that point. Maybe it's a sign that I'm a terrible defender as well, that I can agree why I'd slide for it, because I don't know exactly where that ball's going. And a slide is a good horizontal way of making my body as wide as possible and trying to cut that ball out.
But don't you think if he went with his right foot, he could have cleared that ball back to where it came from for a throw-in? If it kicked it as hard as he
Mustafi, if he goes with his right foot, he's going to put all his body weight into his left, and he's putting it into the top corner because he's going to sweep across that ball. He's not going to tap it straight back towards where it came, in my opinion, anyway. But it is one of those. It could only happen to Mustafi, wouldn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
He tries and does something right, and it bounces off his knee and goes in.
I agree that that could only happen to him, and I think the goal, I just think it was preventable. Like, I just think that if he'd sort of gone with his other foot, I don't know. I just think I'm 100% certain that ball goes into Rosed in for a throw-in. Just hit it back from where it came from. So it was unlucky. I'll give you that, definitely.
Yeah, should we move on to the next goal? Because we've got a few to go through. Actually, quickly before that, Stuart Shepherd, thank you so much for your donation. A few Australian dollary dues in there. So another man from down under, I think, unless they're Austrian dollar, which probably not going to go with Australian. But let's talk about little Lucas and his goal straight off the bat. Carl, do you want to talk us through this one as well?
Yeah, so I think the ball, first of all, it came to Martinelli, didn't it? He sort of done a swivel in the box, hit it across, and I think Torreira just missed it. Then it goes out to Ozil. Ozil hits the ball back into Maitland-Niles. Maitland-Niles hits the ball back to Ozil. Ozil squares it to Xhaka. Xhaka then has a shot. The goalkeeper saves it, and Lucas hits it into the goal. Was there a hint of offside? Yes, it was. If VAR was in this game, it would have chalked it off, I personally think. But you know what? You take the rough with the green, like you take the rough with the smooth. We'll get on to the reason why I'm going to say this. But I genuinely think that it was a good goal. And we'll get on to the Ozil debate later on, but it just shows why I think he should be in the squad for things like this. Just because, with Ozil on the pitch, does that goal get scored? Probably not. His vision is just brilliant. So yeah, and I think it was Torreira, right place, right time. I think I'll be honest with you. I don't think he's a number 8. I think he's a number 6. But he obviously been told to get up the pitch and get into the box, and he did that, and that's how we managed to score the goal.
Yeah, I mean, should our defensive midfielder be like the fox in the box for us? That's my only question about it.
No, you're hoping that another player would have taken the mantle and been up there. Maybe a Willock should have been there instead, or a Xhaka should have been in there. But you know what? As long as the ball goes into the back of the net, then I don't really care who scores.
Yes, true. Right, because we've got how many more goals to go? A few.
Loads. We're
going to fly through, and it appears Ellis and the Norwich internet gremlins have got to him. So it just looks like it's just you and me, Carl.
All right, no worries. Right, so the third goal was Martinelli. Again, the ball goes out wide. Maitland-Niles plays the ball in. Bit of ricochet from the goalkeeper. Martinelli, fox in the box as he is, puts the ball high into the roof of the net, where the goalkeeper can't get it, and makes it 2-1.
Yeah, what do you reckon to how we were coming into the game at that point, to be honest? Because
at that point, we were taking control of the game, and I was happy. I was thinking, okay, we're starting to find our feet now. We're starting to play like we can play against this team, against the Liverpool team, because let's face it, the Liverpool team had their C team out, so we should have controlled that game from the get-go. Personally, I think that what we was doing up until that point was how the game should have been played. We were controlling it, but then because we then got our third goal to make it 3-1 after that, didn't we? Yeah, because it was 3-1.
Yeah, so this is the Martinelli goal with, Mesut with another good, great bit of pressing.
Two Liverpool players try to play the ball to each other. Mesut closes the ball down, plays it into Xhaka. Martinelli is in the box all alone, and if he had missed, I probably would have beaten him up. But Xhaka, nice ball across goal, and he puts it into the net. So, and that was 3-1. And at that point, I'm thinking, for some strange reason, I was happy. And I allowed myself to believe that, 3-1 away to Liverpool. There's no way they're coming back, especially with the team that they had out. Like, I thought to myself, I was comfortable. I was happy. Oh, how wrong I was.
Oh, definitely. And we've just got Michael Hanneman has come in with a nice donation for us as well. Thank you very much. And he's got a question as well, Carl, and I'll ask this because I think it's personal at this moment, around Mesut Ozil and what you thought of his performance. Because, what do you reckon to it, and whether or not we should have taken him off?
No, I don't think so. I think that just invited pressure. Like, I don't understand why he took off Ozil. Ozil's fresh, hasn't played a game for ages. Ozil wasn't blowing out of his arse. I genuinely don't think Ozil should have come off. What I'm hoping is that he took off Ozil to keep him fresh for Saturday. Probably not. We'll get into the reason why later, but I just don't think that taking off Ozil for Guendouzi made any sense whatsoever. It just Guendouzi is a player you'd put on if you was protecting a lead. At that point, it was 4-4. I want to say
it was 4-4.
Yeah, so that was just stupid. You don't take him off when you're 4-4 trying to chase a goal, because he was making things happen. Up to that point, I would honestly say, barring Martinelli, Ozil was our best player.
Yeah, I could get behind that, certainly. So let's go into, because we've got Martinelli's second goal, but then in the 42nd minute, Martinelli leaves a leg out. Should we do that? Be kind to the Liverpool player that then dives over it?
I think it was a total dive. And I think if VAR was in this game, it would have ruled that out. And again, the reason why I'm not that bothered by it, because like I said, the Martinelli, the Torreira first goal was offside, and this one was a dive. So it kind of, in the grand scheme of things, it kind of evened itself out. I want to say maybe, but yeah, I personally, I'm not just looking at this with Arsenal tinted glasses on. I genuinely think he dived. You could be kind, Josh. You're right, and you could say he left the leg and he invited it, if that makes sense. He invited the incident, but like I said, I think it evened itself out. If I'm really honest, and Milner stepped up, and Milner does what Milner does and scores.
Yeah, definitely. And I agree with the VAR. It's one of those, one game we don't get VAR in, and we're like, you know what? It would have been like equal, wouldn't it, in the end?
Yeah, it would have been. And then the Maitland-Niles goal for 2, yes. So this goal was a thing of beauty. I don't care what anyone says. It was lovely. Milner tries to play it back to the goalkeeper. Maitland-Niles pounces upon it, rounds the goalkeeper, but has run the ball too far. Ozil runs to the near post, back heels it, and then Maitland-Niles puts the ball back in. Again, without Ozil on the pitch, that goal doesn't get scored. I don't care anyone says that goal does not, because no one was going to be in that position that Ozil in. Like, Willock was nowhere near there, Martinelli wasn't. So whoever would have been played in place of Ozil would not have been in that position for them to do that. So for me, that was brilliant. And then the celebration at the end, Ozil just leans onto the hoarding with his arms folded, like, do you see why you should play me? Absolutely brilliant. But I think that goal was, I know we'll talk about the next two goals, but for me, that was probably the goal of the night. Just the play and what happened. What do you think about it, Josh?
Yeah, I thought absolutely superb work again. It's great to see Mesut making that kind of run beyond the ball as well. You don't always see that from him. And to see him come in there and then basically follow it in, because we've seen it before, where he'd kind of play it to the striker and then just let the striker go on with it. Just go, well, you score. I've given you the pass. But to follow that in and make sure, because he had to be there. If he wasn't there, that just goes out for a corner. Because Maitland-Niles kind of miscontrols it and just, or even worse, it's a goal kick and we just completely lose that. And he brings that right back in.
Yeah, I think the back heel was just absolutely brilliant. And you're right. I genuinely think if Ozil's not there, it goes out for a corner and
it just goes, doesn't it? The whole move dries down. But a quick question to the chat box whilst they're in there as well. So as we're rattling through some of these, we can see, of course, as well, as Jason isn't here, one of us has got to do it. 176 of you watching right now. I've only got 50 thumbs up. To be fair, I'm surprised it's 50. So congratulations to all of you. We must have a Mesut Ozil in there, creating a lot of vibes and getting some thumbs up in there. But if you could give us a nice thumbs up, that'd be great, because I can see people like Joe Madeira 1993 in there, Milk Magnesia in there, Junior Gunner, Russ Morgan, the already mentioned Michael Hahnemann, formerly Noza, Joshua Page, who I think is just trying to work out if he's what he's getting for Chinese. Fair play to him. Zoidberg as well. All you guys in there are going great. And I've got a question for you as well. And Carl's already put it in there. What was your goal of the night? What was your goal of the night?
Great
so,
minds.
Right, for all the people that aren't listening to us, just here for the visuals, they can read your question as well. And if you can collect those up, and we'll see who. We'll do a little vote. Work out whose was the best. If anyone says Oxlade-Chamberlain, though, get the fuck out.
Well, that's the next goal to talk about, isn't it?
It is. Right. Should we talk about that thunder bastard?
Let's be honest. It was a good goal, wasn't it? I know we hate to say it. We really do, but it was a flipping good strike. It really, really was. He just robbed the ball from, I want to say, Maitland-Niles. Maitland-Niles, again, goes with his wrong foot. Maitland-Niles goes with his right foot instead of using his left foot just to boot up the pitch. I have a problem, Josh, and not that sort of problem.
We're saying narrow down, mate.
So I understand that people have a preferred foot. I totally understand. Messi is left-footed. There are some of the greatest players. I remember David Suka played for Arsenal. He was the most left-footed player in the whole entire world. However, as a professional footballer, you should be able to kick the ball with your other foot. Would you kind of agree with that?
I think certainly at that level, I think so. Like, I've totally got a preferred leg to slide on. I'm left-footed, so for some reason I can't slide with my right. So I always force someone onto my left so I can get a slide tackle in. And it's one of those kind of things that it's kind of hard. You get to that kind of elite level to be so one-footed, but we have seen it. There are players like that.
And I totally understand. Now, the reason why I'm saying this, and I'm not trying to just single it Ainsley Maitland-Niles out, but he tries to clear the ball, but instead of clearing the ball with his left foot just to boot it up the pitch, he tries to do an awkward, he takes a step back to try and kick the ball with his, oh, for fuck's sake. Look at him. He just looks angry. Look at him. You can just look. He just looks angry, doesn't he? For the visuals, just to let everyone know, Jason Davies is just entered our chat box, and the look on his face, Jesus Christ. Anyway, let me just get through this before he absolutely goes mad at players. So instead of Ainsley Maitland-Niles trying to kick it with his other foot, he tried to take a step back to give him more of a balance, to keep it with his more awkward foot, and that gives Ox the chance to steal the ball from him. And then all she wrote, really. Like, I hate giving other players praise. I hate it, but it was a fucking good goal. And I'm going to enter Jason on this. Jason, I know you hate it. I know you don't want to give other people praise, but you got to give credit where credit's due, right?
The Ox goal.
Yeah, the Ox goal.
What a finish. He's been clever. He's nipped in. I don't know if anybody's given Maitland-Niles the shout.
Yeah, we've gone about that, why he went with his opposite.
Where are your two central midfielders? Okay, that's the area that he's in there, that he's covering. Two central mids should be there. Right? Where's your right back in Hector? Right? There's a whole host of things today where, everybody's chucking the blame at certain players. But the truth of the matter is, there's a whole host of mistakes in the lead up to most of the goals. Right? That's my opinion on it. But my God, what a finish. There were some cracking goals. And that was an absolute screamer. One touch, hit, back of the net. Fantastic. We always knew he had that in him.
Mm.
Okay. It's one of those games tonight, boys.
It's just a shame, Jace, isn't it? Because normally Ox hits one of those and he's on the losing side.
Normally Ox hits one of those and it ends up in bloody in Everton's ground. In Vincent Park. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Josh, do you think that the goalkeeper should have done better or not? Because we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, it was kind of at him. I think the best way I can kind of describe it, a little bit like, did anybody see Pascal Gross's free kick against Everton at the weekend? Where it's straight at Pickford. Yeah, he's got a lot of power behind it, but it's still straight at the goalkeeper. And I'd expect Martinez to get something on it. Anything.
Yeah, but that was curving, wasn't it? There was
so much movement. He's got two hands. Stick one where he thinks it's going, another hand near it.
Oh, are you boys in that sort of mood tonight?
I think we might be.
Okay.
But yeah, that's where I'm at with that goal, to be honest. I know, he's let a lot go through him, to be honest. And probably picking him up for one of the goals that perhaps he's at least at fault. But I expect my goalkeeper to do a little bit more for it, to be honest. He was just generally quite weak, I think, for most of the game.
Yeah, I don't think Martinelli had the best game, and then the first Origi goal.
Yeah,
it's almost like the Red Sea, or the Blue Sea, I should say, because the young Liverpool lad literally just ran straight through the midfield, not a challenge at all. Plays it into Origi. Origi does a spin move. He takes out both our centre backs at the same time and hits it into straight out Martinelli. Personally, I think he could have done better with that one. Hits Martinelli's hand and goes into the goal. Now, I think Martinelli could have done better. I think that our two centre backs could have done better. I think that Torreira could have done better. I think Willock could have done better. It's just a comedy of errors in that goal. But the fact that Origi got the ball, spun, and took out both our centre backs at the same time, that is shocking. That is absolutely ridiculous that he can do that.
Yeah.
There's a couple of flip sides to this, okay? First of all, that was excellent movement from Origi.
Yeah.
Okay. That's quality play. If it's Thierry Henry doing that, we're talking about how fabulous he is and how, it takes him as a Superman to sort of deal with him. Okay. Origi, he took some really great goals tonight. If you want to be brutally honest, Rob Holding had a fucking awful game.
Yeah, okay? I think so.
Awful game. Joe Willock, up until his goal, was shit. Right? Saka couldn't string a couple of passes together. It's a midweek team, okay, who scored 5 goals away at Anfield. Some very, very good goals. We showed some really good moments, but it's still a midweek team where, you look at it, Mesut Ozil involved in all 3 opening goals, okay, playing really, really well, taken off.
Well, let's go into that because that's the next thing I've got on there. And you mentioned the player that I thought perhaps was the one that would have come off in Joe Willock. because at the moment in time, we had no control of the midfield at that point. Liverpool had got the game in their perfect area. You know, when Klopp's got that kind of perfect chaos for him, nobody's got control of this game, but Liverpool have got all this pace and power coming through and just relentless. So what did you think, Karl, with that kind of move of bringing off Mesut Ozil and almost like shoring up that midfield with Torreira, Willock and Guendouzi rather than doing perhaps a straighter swap of Willock coming off?
No, I think Ozil should have stayed on. I think at that point, you're chasing the game, aren't you? Because it's 4-4 and all the momentum is with Liverpool. Now, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to get the game to go to penalties, or are you trying to win the game? With Liverpool, with the team that Liverpool had, they had a bunch of teenagers on the pitch. You know, let's just keep it honest right now. Liverpool's C team right now we lost to, and they had a bunch of teenagers on the pitch. Now, no matter who on our sub bench came on, we had an extremely strong sub bench. Personally, Ozil should have stayed because he was pulling strings at that time. He was finding his rhythm and he was getting into it. Like, why would you? Someone's right in the middle of having such a good game. Like, it's almost like. We'll get onto this later, but it's almost like Emery said, "Oh, you're having a bit too much fun there. I want to take you off." And it's kind of like, what? Like, he was absolutely pulling the strings for that game, and you take him off for someone like Guendouzi, who he's not the. Yes, he can. He's the sort of person that will drive the ball forward, but is he known for his assists? No. Is he known for his goals? No, not really. So, what? Unless you were just trying to shore things up to try and earn the draw to take it to penalties, I don't see what the reason why the swap for Guendouzi for Ozil was.
So, Jace, just to you, when we did see Guendouzi coming on, the game kind of slowed down a little bit, didn't it? We kind of gained some more control back in that. Do you agree with that compared to when it was with Ozil?
No, I don't think we gained more control, funny enough. I'm seeing a lot of people saying, the plan was, Emery saying the plan was to play Mesut for 65 minutes. Well, you're actually seeing Mesut Ozil in his pomp, okay, contributing to the game, being creative, winning the ball high up the park, putting a real shift in, like he has done in every game he's played from pre-season through. Run him into the ground, give him real match fitness, leave him go, test his limits, okay? When Guendouzi came on, I thought... I didn't think we looked more solid at the back. I thought the game was, it was a real sort of cup match, back and forth. I don't think it really changed that much. In truth be told, in my opinion, you may look at it from a different perspective and think, you thought we gained a bit more control. We certainly lacked more creativity. Do you know what I mean? We weren't creating
definitely,
as many chances.
But we couldn't get the ball to our creative players because our midfield was shot to pieces at that beginning of the second half, and it was because of, I think Willock was just overrun, wasn't he?
Well, Willock just had a bad day at the office. You look at Xhaka, you look at Willock, you look at all these youngsters. It's learning curve time. Okay, I keep on saying it. Right? You're not expecting these kids to be the finished articles yet. Right? Nobody's Patrick. There are hardly any Patrick Vieiras who are going to control a Premier League game at 19 years of age. They're just not, okay? So, you just want these guys to learn a bit from the game, to take something out of it, to build performance, to build those minutes in the bank. Now, Willock was shot to pieces. If you'd have replaced Guendouzi with Willock, I'd have thought that would have been a sensible option, like you said. The man you thought who'd come off, as it happens, he goes and smashes in a cracker afterwards, okay? Much to everybody's surprise. And what a beauty it was. But that would have been the sane, the sensible, the ambitious substitution. But we are where we are.
Well, let's talk through that Thunder bastard. Karl?
He gets the ball. I think Guendouzi gets the ball, doesn't he? And plays it to Willock. And Willock just runs. And I think Willock, do you know the ones where you're tired and you just think, you know what, fuck this. I'm just going to hit it. Like, I don't care. Hits it. And when it leaves his foot, you're thinking, because I was like, oh, what the fuck are you? Oh my God, what a goal. Because I was about to say, what are you doing, you dickhead? But do you know what? you give someone the credit, and that was absolutely beautiful. Like Jason said, I think that was an absolute wonderful goal. Like, I'm not just saying this, I think it was better than Ox's. I really, really do, just because of how he ran with the ball. And yeah, it was a thing of beauty, and credit to him. You know what? You can't take nothing away from him. Yeah, he didn't have a good game, but at the end of the day, he's got his name on the score sheet. And, you know, at that point, for 5-4, or 4-5, you was thinking, you know what? Maybe, just maybe. Like, I thought there was going to be another goal in there. I genuinely did. But you were starting to believe at that point that, you know, maybe we could actually win this.
Do you know what I loved about that, okay? He's had a tough day at the office, and he's still got the ambition to take that shot on. Do you know what I mean? He's still got the balls. He's still got the ambition to take that shot on. And, you know, you when you say hitting the ball from that far out, you can talk luck, you can talk whatever you want, okay? But to have the self-belief, to have the, you know, to have the bottle to take that shot on at that point, magnificent. It was a bloody belter.
Yeah, it was brilliant. It really was just under the top corner, and I thought at that point, wow, we could go on to win this. And congratulations to him. You know, no matter if that was out of anger, if it was skill, like you said, Jason, you could talk skill, you can talk luck, you can talk placement, all you want. At the end of the day, he took the shot on and he scored, and that's really that's all that matters, really.
I agree. What do you think of that then, Josh?
Well, what can I say? I was eating humble pie, I think I should say, on that one. Going, why didn't you take Willock off? And then he does that, and you're like, okay,
that's why.
Someone knows more than me. Although going by Twitter, I don't think he does. But we saw a couple of other subs as well. I think that was almost like Willock was like, "Oh, right, I've just seen my number going into the board. What can I do to keep myself on the pitch for a few more minutes? Right, I'll try this." So we saw little Lucas come off and Ceballos come on, and then Kolasinac for Tierney. What did you make for those two subs, Karl?
The first one made no sense to me. You're winning 5-4. Why would you dare not keep? Who you take off?
Little Lucas
Torreira. Why would you not keep him on? That, for me, being on Ceballos made no sense. No sense whatsoever. And this is the reason why, we'll talk about the manager later, but this is the reason why people question him. Why would you not play your club's best defensive midfielder in the defensive midfielder role and just tell him to sit back? But no, you take him off for some unknown reason. Because, so this is what I don't understand. At 4-4, when you're chasing the game, you take off a creative midfielder. At 5-4, when you should be defending the game, you take off a defensive midfielder and try to put another creative midfielder. I can see why people question him. I genuinely can see why people question him and why people want him out. I am one of those people, but we'll talk about that later. But for me, that made no sense. And Kolasinac actually was injured, so I can see the reason why you took him off for Tierney.
Yeah, Jace, any thoughts on those subs, or should we move on to the 93rd minute goal?
It took him a while to get Kolasinac off, didn't it? They were calling for that for a bit. The Torreira substitution, I don't know. I thought he'd run his race again. Somebody with not a lot of football in his legs recently. I thought he was struggling at that point, but I just look at the moment and I just think I don't think there's a lot of I think Unai sees his dream game and the way it develops. Do you know what I mean? He has an idea of how he wants the game to develop. It never quite goes like that. So yeah, you know, because to be fair to Ceballos, I don't see what he's offered us recently. So he played really well in the Standard Liège game. Other than that, a very, very skillful player, but his contribution is absolutely bang average. I mean, you might as well have Coughlin in there.
I mean, it's like with I was to say, if he was actually playing defensive midfield, it'd be fine, right?
Yeah, instead of playing this box-to-box nonsense. And this is why, again, as fans, as spectators, we can question Emery and ask them questions. Why would you not play him in defensive midfielder when he was the best defensive midfielder in Italy when we first bought him? Do you know, it's things like that he gets questioned on, and the reason why people do want him out, because the decisions that he makes, and I know people will say, well, he knows more about football than you've forgotten. Not necessarily. Just because he's in the position that he's in doesn't mean he knows. Well, he might do, I don't know. But I can see why people question him, and he just makes really, really wrong decisions, it seems.
I gotta be honest, okay? You know, all this thing, he knows more about football than you've ever forgot. He's forgotten more about football than you'll ever know. Bullshit. Have you seen the teams this fucking idiot puts out? Okay?
Yeah, I mean, that was certainly the case with Wenger. I'd completely agree that on that one. But yeah,
not being funny. This is the thing, okay, football managers, certain situations suit them brilliantly. It's perfect. It's a nice fit. Everything goes their way. Okay. And other situations, right, or, you know, there's not something not quite right. The man, you know, the club doesn't fit the ethos that the manager has. It doesn't make them good or bad managers. It just means it doesn't work at certain clubs. Do you know what I mean? And it's this thing of they know more than you. They got coaching badges. I see a lot of donkeys around there with coaching badges. They don't know anything about football. You know, it's just, it's not always easy, is it?
No, I mean, half those pundits have got coaching badges.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Can I ask a question, both of you, just real quickly? Do you think the job is too big for Emery? And I'm saying that because I know people say, well, he managed PSG, but the team they had at PSG, he should have cakewalked the league every league, and I know he lost out to Monaco.
Chris Carpenter could have won that league, okay, with that team.
But do you honestly think that this job at Arsenal is a bit too big for him?
Josh, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'd say no. I don't think it's too big for him. Maybe we've got an inflated thought of how big a club we are. I don't know. But PSG is a pretty massive job for any manager. You know,
but with the team that he had, I'm not being rude. I know
I would say
the French league and all sorts, but with the team that he had against the players that he had, and that, let's face it, that Monaco team that won the league that year was an exceptional team. It was absolutely just the players that they had were just ridiculous. But with all the money that he had to spend, he should have won the league every single year, and he didn't. So.
But he also doesn't spend that because he's not a manager. He's a head coach. You know, the guys upstairs bought the players for him. Do you think that Unai Emery, the manager that we now see, would have said, I want Neymar and Mbappe in his team? No, he'd have asked for 2 new fullbacks. He wouldn't have asked for 2 attacking wingers in that regard. His best success came with when he was with Monchi in Seville. And you know what? Monchi's greatest success came when he was under or working with Unai Emery. There was that, as Jace just said, sometimes you find great coaching pairs. You know, great coaches need great systems, and they found the perfect system there. And it's not, maybe it's a sign that both of those people have gone off to do separate things on their own, and they've not done as well.
I think it's one of those things. Okay, so I saw a Gab from Shewar a few months ago. We were just shooting the breeze and what have you. And we were talking about Arsene Wenger, and he said, Arsene Wenger with David Dean, invincible. Arsene Wenger, post David Dean leaving, it fell apart a little bit. You know, you need that yin to your yang. I don't think the Arsenal is too big a job for anybody. I really don't. I don't think there is such a thing as too big a job out there. I just don't think Unai's embraced the role. I think he's come in with preconceived ideas and he's sticking to them. I think he's come in, he wants to do it his way. There's not been enough give from Unai, or he's not embraced the challenge as he should have. And I think he overthinks things far too much, and I think he's made a rod for his own back. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit like the Ozil situation, where you can't have a player of that quality or that the quality, ability, that profile, just sit not even in the matchday squad. You can't. Okay, and you can't keep on changing your story all the time. It's not this, it's this, it's then going on. Me and the board have made this decision. You've got to embrace this role. You know, you saw when Arsene Wenger. Well, I don't know. You'll be young, innit? But when Arsene Wenger came to this job, I remember thinking, "Who the hell is he?" You know, I've never heard of you, mate. But he came in and he just embraced the role. He had a good relationship with David Dean. He embraced the role. He took it forward. I don't think Unai's done that, and I think that's why he's paying. It's gone this way for him.
I think it also doesn't help that the person he was going to do that with then fucked off to AC Milan in December.
No. Raul and Sven were the guys who got Ivan to sign this guy. There's a load of nonsense about Ivan, him being Ivan's hire. He's not. Raul and Sven changed his mind, you know. The reports are all there. Ivan wanted Arteta. Okay? Now, he was only ever hired as the coach. You know, we'll get you the players. You make the best of them. He didn't like the players he was getting from Sven. Raul had the power issue with Sven. Sven goes. Nothing much has really changed in his mandate with this team. Nothing much has changed. Okay? And that's the problem. Nothing's changed on the pitch or off the pitch, really, for him. You know, Raul's gone and got the players that he wanted, supposedly, apart from Zaha. You know, we just haven't seen that change on the pitch. He's stuck in a rut, and he ain't going to get out of it.
Yeah, I think it's one of those. He needs direction as a head coach, doesn't he? We were a bit directionless above. Do you agree with that, Karl? That because of all the changes we were seeing at the same time, no one was ever there to put the structure around that a head coach kind of needs, because that structure was ever changing and it didn't help. Didn't help him.
I think for so long, Arsene Wenger was the be-all and end-all of Arsenal. The buck always stopped with Arsene, didn't it? And I don't remember it's about Arsene because he's left now, but I think for so long, everything revolved around him. I think when certain people now had to start doing their jobs, per se, they didn't know how to do it. So I think that, yeah, maybe he did need structure. Maybe what he needed was someone to tell him, all you need to do is concentrate on, and this is what you should be doing, just concentrate on coaching the team. Your only job is to make the team win. Nothing else. You don't have to worry about anything else. You ask, you tell us who you want, we'll try and get those players. You know, I always think there should be a B, and C list. These are my A list players. These are the players that I want. If I can't get those players, then give me the players on the B list. If I can't get those, give me the players on the C list. Now, like I can't remember who was it, Jason or you said, he got every single player that he possibly wanted that we know of, apart from Zaha. But in Zaha, he got Pepe. Whether you can compare the two, you know, we don't know. However, it just seems that for me, and maybe I don't know if I explained it wrong, saying the job's too big for him. I just think that I think both of you are right when you said that this is literally a job that hasn't worked out for him. It just has not happened. We just haven't gelled together from the get-go, you know. And I know we can mention the 23 games unbeaten at the start of the season, but even then, I remember me, you, and Jason being on this, talking about the games and saying we're winning and that's all good, or we're drawing, but the style of play is not good. We are playing boring football, and that hasn't changed. We haven't played exciting football. I genuinely think of all the games that Unai has been in charge of, I can remember 2 games that's been exciting, and that's this one tonight and the 4-2 against Spurs at home last season. Apart from that, I can't remember a game where I really enjoyed watching under Unai Emery. And it's just, that's ridiculous. Sorry,
what about the Fulham game when all of our fans started singing "We've got our Arsenal back"? What about those?
Oh, the one with the Aaron Ramsey goal. That was. I know Jason smart then. But that Aaron Ramsey goal was a thing of beauty. But even then, if you know, that's what, 3 games. That's it. That's not good enough. It's not good. It's not good enough for the fact that 3 games out of all Unai Emery's games that you can remember that we played good in, the rest of them have been shambolic and shit. So it hasn't worked out. Now, we could sit here and we can debate about whether he should go or not. I'm sure if you was to ask the serious question, should he go? I think everyone would say yes. Then it obviously leads into more questions on who do you replace him with. You know, do you give it to Freddie to the end of the season? We don't want who. I'm sorry. I really don't want him, and we all know who I'm talking about. And then there's other names. There's candidates out there. Arsenal is still an attractive job to take. You know, you could talk about Brendan Rodgers. I personally don't think would ever prize Brendan Rodgers out of Leicester right now, so that's off the table. You could talk about Eddie Howe's. Would you give Eddie Howe a chance? Maybe. Would you wait for Allegri? Would you give it to Allegri now? You don't know. So there are candidates out there. I just think that right now, Unai Emery and Arsenal are not a correct fit. They're just not. And it's how it comes to a point where it was in the last throes of the Arsene era. How bad does it need to get before something's done about it?
Yeah. Well, you summed it up pretty well, I think, at that point. Did we talk about the Origi goal, the 93rd minute one? Just thinking about the game.
We didn't. We brush over it.
We'll brush over it a bit, like Guendouzi brushed over his responsibilities.
It was bad from Saka. Saka just didn't close the guy down to stop the cross. Very, very bad. The ball comes in. Guendouzi, ball goes over his head, and I hate to say it, great finish from Origi. It's just a comedy of errors all around, wasn't it? We're just not stopping the balls coming into the box. We're not stopping the balls when they're in the box, and you know they scored, and you know it hurt last minute. You know, it's just fucking ridiculous. Why is it that Arsenal, and this seems to be a recurring theme, why can't Arsenal defend? Why can't Arsenal defend? And I don't know. There's a systematic, fundamental thing wrong with Arsenal and their defending.
No, Nate, I'm sorry. Okay? It's not. It's purely and simply we don't have the midfield pairing, okay, who are athletic enough and defensively minded enough to cover the back four. Right? When you're pushing your full backs that high up, okay, you're inviting pressure through. Now, you know, no disrespect to Matteo Guendouzi, he is not defensively disciplined, okay? Today, you know, you look at it, Ceballos, you know, Guendouzi, nobody playing that role was particularly great at it, okay? But we don't have those players in the squad. You look at Liverpool, you know, everybody can have a pop at Henderson, everybody can have a pop at Keita or Fabinho or whatever, but they know their role. You know, who's the Dutch lad? Wijnaldum. Yeah. You know, the athleticism on that guy is phenomenal. You know, absolutely phenomenal. I don't think, you know, you saw Joe Gomez in that Liverpool defence tonight. He looks great alongside VVD playing the first team because he's got two guys screening him. Okay? You know, they take their defensive responsibilities seriously. We don't. I don't think we're... Yeah, if you brought in a Benitez, for argument's sake, if you brought in a Mourinho, you know, there's a lot of piss being boiled over names and stuff like that. At the moment, Unai's still the man, okay? But if you brought in two guys like that, they would sort the defensive side of it out. They would, okay? And, you know, you'd see people, you know, being given specific roles. You can't go balls out all the time. Yeah, not unless you're going to commit, and we haven't had that attacking edge, have we?
I mean, what I would say is that Liverpool side didn't have a defensive midfielder in it either. They started with Oxlade-Chamberlain and Keita next to Lallana, and to be fair, they conceded 5.
Yeah,
but we had a defensive midfielder on that field for 4 of those goals.
But he's playing 8, isn't he?
Yeah, I was going to say, did he play in the number 6 role? Because I don't think he did. Like we just talked about on the first goal, he was in the box. What's our defensive midfielder doing that far up the pitch? So, again, it boils down to, is the manager deploying him in the wrong way? Are they just ill-disciplined? Who knows? You could ask one question, it leads into another question.
But this is the problem. John Bernstein, we love John Bernstein. You know, he's part of the crew, isn't he? Torreira at 6, Guendouzi at 8, Ozil at 10. Sounds great. Okay? But we've got Guendouzi at 8, and you saw in the first goal, the one which he scored, okay? You saw he tried to do that little Cruyff turn that the Rambo loved so much, okay? You know, this is a guy who scored an overhead against Spurs last season. You can tell he's not as adept as other players. Like Willock in front of goal is far more effective, you know? Willock today was kind of missing in action. So, you know, you're one man down there. You know, we don't seem settled at all, do we? You know, we don't seem settled in our midweek midfield. You know, going forward, we look great. Going backwards, we're poor. And on the weekend midfield, we just look all to hell. You know, if you're telling me Guendouzi's an 8, you know, he's got an engine on him, to be fair to him. He's not got pace. He's not really creative. Defensively, he has major issues. You know, but he's young and he's going to learn. You know, he's by no means the finished article, is he?
No, and I think he's a 6. And Torreira is probably a 4, if we're going that way. He's the defensive midfielder, proper defensive midfielder. Yeah. And Guendouzi's a 4, so you need an 8 in there. You don't need a 10.
This is the thing, that you have so many different options, so many different perspectives. Do you know what I mean? You know, who knows who's right? And until you actually play these guys in these positions, you're never going to find out. You know, no. I've got my own views on this. I don't think they're going to be the most popular, you know, but the truth of the matter is you need to play personnel in positions they're comfortable in or positions they're effective in. And unfortunately, Unai hasn't done that.
Yeah,
that's not
definitely.
Unpopular. That's standard. I mean, it's a square peg round hole sort of thing, isn't it? Do you remember when Arsene Wenger used to...
Sorry, mate. What I was trying to say is the solution I'd have wouldn't be popular. You know, I'd be boiling some piss if I said. And I actually said it before on the show what I think I'd do, but you know, it definitely wouldn't be popular at the moment.
Yeah, agree. Because to be honest, if you try and get them all together, we end up fielding a midfield of 3 defensive midfielders. In our mind, anyway, defensive midfielders. Should we talk about the penalty shootout? It was nice to see a right back stepping up first for the Arsenal and taking a penalty. That was a nice bit of nostalgia.
Yeah, but that's a captain, isn't it? That guy's a proper leader in this team.
He was like, I'm taking the first one. I'm the captain. I'm going.
It was like seeing Lee Dixon or Lauren going up. It was lovely to have a right back coming up and taking a penalty, sticking it away. No fuss.
Yeah.
As we talk about Hector and his game, I think straight from the off. We can either start it from the first one to come out from Sunday, and then we saw him give his jacket to the mascot because it's fucking freezing up here at the moment.
That was nice.
Can I say something? I remember that dickhead in his Datsun. I'm done with you, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? All that nonsense with Hector Bellerin. And Hector just keeps on growing as a human being, as a man, as a leader in this team. And once he's back in the first team, they're going to start slating him again because Emery's going to ask him to play high and he's going to be missing in action. Do you know what I mean? But he's fantastic.
Is it too big to say, Karl, that he's taken the mantle from Arsene Wenger in terms of the off-field part of Arsenal?
He's young. You know, he's going to have a few mistakes in him. So you have to understand that footballers aren't robots. You know, these guys are young millionaires. So, you know, at certain times you can think, I mean, the stuff that he does off the pitch is brilliant. You know, his charity work, you know, his environmental work. I love it. I think it's brilliant. But what I don't want is for us to start bigging him up. And then if he does make a mistake, like people say, oh, I knew it. He's not Arsenal material, he's not captain material, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, he's a young millionaire, good looking guy. Like, he's going to get into, you know, something's going to happen. Let's face it. Do you know what I mean? And I just don't want everyone to start bigging him up. And then if he does make a mistake, then start bringing him down, which that's what I really don't want. So, but yeah, you're right, Josh. I think today he had a very he had a captain's game, didn't he? It wasn't the best, but I think he was a solid 7 out of 10. I think he was a proper leader today.
He's got such fantastic self-belief, isn't he?
Yeah.
In everything he does, okay, he's got self-belief, he's thoughtful, he's caring, he's competitive on the pitch. I just think the guy is I think he's a good bloke. Bloody good bloke.
And I think that's what we kind of need in this squad as well at the moment. So let's talk about some other players and their performances. Should we start with the man who divides very much opinion across the fan base? And, it's almost split with some people of their views on the manager themselves, and Mesut Ozil. Karl, what did you think of his performance
I
today?
think he had a good game today. Like, I'm not Mesut Ozil's biggest fan, not in the slightest. I genuinely think he was, apart from maybe Martinelli, he was our best player on the pitch. He pulled the strings. He did what Mesut Ozil does. He found pockets of space. He was popping up passes here and there. He got assists. There was nothing more you could have asked for from Mesut Ozil today. Maybe a goal, but that's the bit asking for too much. But I think today he had a very good game, and had he had stayed on the pitch, I think the outcome would have been different. I can't say that for sure. Like, I'm not going to say, oh yeah, we definitely would have won 6-3 or whatever it was. But no, I think he had a very good game today.
Jace, do we need to contextualise it that this was against a Liverpool reserve side? I mean, they're no Ludogorets.
Well, let's be honest, okay, the manager's not even putting him in the matchday squad for anything else. So he can only play what's in front of him.
Yes.
And he was excellent tonight. He showed exactly the same way he was against Forest, against Watford. And in pre-season, he was excellent, okay? He didn't hide. He put himself out there defensively. He was good, was it the second or third goal where he wins the ball high up? He did everything he needed to do. And don't get me wrong, everybody's heard me slagging down Ozil on this show. Everybody's heard it. I don't mind giving it in both barrels. But at the moment, he screamed out. It screamed out what we've been missing in this team. At times, not constantly, at times, in his performance, it screamed out in him. And when you look at, I know he was replaced by Matteo Guendouzi. When you look at Ceballos' contribution, in comparison to Mesut Ozil's, you're talking champagne and dishwater. Okay? I've heard this guy, Ceballos came into this side, he's this, he's that. He's had one good game against fucking Burnley. Okay? He has flattered to deceive ever since. Played well against Standard Liège. Did okay coming on against Spurs. But, we're hyping up players who don't do anything when it counts. And Sheffield United against Palace, okay, they don't deliver. And to be fair to Mesut Ozil, yes, he's somebody who divides opinion at the moment. But everybody's slagging him off. He's not been given an opportunity. And when he has been given the opportunity, he's performed well. End of story. So, I think it's about time. Who's going to last longer at this club? It's going to be Mesut Ozil, not Unai Emery. Because at least somebody's, having a go.
Yeah, do you think that what we've seen from this performance as well is also a bit on, what has been said before the matches about the way that Unai, and it was a source from the board as well, and Mertesacker all saying that Ozil needed to up his game. I can't remember seeing Mesut Ozil putting in a pressing performance that he did this evening in games previous.
I think that's down into the team, though, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, I agree with you, Jason.
Press in ones, do you? And Unai hasn't exactly had a pressing. He hasn't had an agenda of pressing. That's not been a tactic we've used at all. And when you look at it, actual competitive starts, what are there, 3 or 4 this season? So I mean, look, I think some of the narrative from the likes of Raul, Unai, and Pepe, some of it will be kosher. Some of it will be, yeah, that's what we believe. Some of it will be towing the company line as well. There's a grey area in between everything that's going to be the actual truth. How this develops is going to be interesting, and we're just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, let's talk about a man who I think pressed incredibly well from the front, Karl, and scored 2 of our goals. Unfortunately, gave away a penalty as well. That young Brazilian man that is now being nicknamed Gabigol by the Arsenal Twitter. What did you reckon to Martinelli's performance this evening?
Can't fault him. You can't fault him. You can go up to Anfield and, like Jason said, you can only play what's in front of you. You can go up to Anfield and score 2 goals. You're doing something right. The guy literally is scoring loads and loads of goals. He's playing well. He's up and down the pitch. The fact that he conceded a penalty just shows how much he runs, because our striker was in our opposition box trying to defend. For me, that just shows, yes, he conceded a penalty, and whether it was a dive or not, it was, but it just shows how much he gets up and down the pitch. For me, he is getting to be possibly our number 2 striker rather than our number 3. And I think that Lacazette will have to start looking over his shoulder at Martinelli, because he is brilliant, and I think he's probably pushing maybe for a league start soon, because he can't just have cup games. We're out of the League Cup now, so you're only going to play him in the Europa, and then we haven't got FA Cup until January. So for me, Martinelli is definitely getting to be our number 2 striker, and I know Lacazette always will be because of the partnership that he has with Aubameyang. But you got to give him praise. He's got 7 goals this season now. He's got more goals than Marcus Rashford, and Marcus Rashford's meant to be the next coming of Andy Cole. So, credit where credit's due. Absolutely brilliant from Martinelli today.
Jace, what did you reckon to Martinelli's performance? Are you on board with Karl that he's now like our second choice striker, or do you think he's still a young guy?
I still think he's a young guy. I still think we need to manage him properly. Okay, I think look, when you look at Willock, Xhaka, AMN, Guendouzi, Emile Smith Rowe, all these guys, Martinelli. This is part of a learning process for them all. Okay, you've just got to leave them develop properly. You play them when you think the time is right. I think the boy Martinelli's been sensational, absolutely sensational. His bravery, his footballing intelligence, his effort, everything about him smacks of delivering. He plays in no fear. He has a go, and his intelligence off the ball is excellent. I know he gave away a penalty tonight. The lad bought that penalty. Okay, he went over like he'd been shot. Do you know what I mean? It was a bit like Karl going over there. Do you know what I mean? Straight over like that. But I just think he's such a fantastic talent. When you talk about somebody who's come in and actually delivered on a regular basis, this boy's done it. I'd sign him to a new contract here and now, okay, and see how he develops. But they're going to have to start giving him Premier League minutes, 10 year, 15 there. And he's going to have to start all Europa League games on FA Cup when they come round. They're just going to have to do it, because he's somebody who looks like he's ready to be developed quicker than everybody else. Do you know what I mean? But you've got to bear in mind, he's still a young lad. He's gonna fall off a cliff at some point. Do you know what I mean? There's going to be a dip in form. and we've just got to manage that correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, so that's the end of the game. Before we move on to questions, not sure who's going to read those out yet, but what I am going to do is go into the chat box. But what I might do is, much like he entered, like I'd probably say, like the Undertaker coming in and WWE, he needs some entrance music, really. But Jace, do your thing. We're at 220 and I've got 90 ups and 1 down.
Do you know what? Okay, I see people in this chat box, okay? There's been some really interesting stuff said in there today. I was part of the chat box earlier on. I was quite enjoying it. There's the odd one or two who are a bit divvy, but there you go. It's just the way it is. But 95 likes. 95 likes. We've just gone through, okay, a 5-all game at Anfield. We've gone down to penalties, okay? We've let ourselves down on penalties. And you think 95 likes is all right? You think that's acceptable? Who do you think you are? Unai Emery subbing off Ozil after 50 minutes? You know, Kyan Jackson's all the way from Jamaica in that box. Now give some bloody likes, okay? And get us up to 140, please. Because this is not gone. It's not on. You don't go up to Anfield, score 5 goals and fucking lose. No, you win. So be winners and start tapping that like button. Come on, let's get going. Thank you very much. Tappy, tappy. Back to you, Josh.
Cheers, Jace. I think that's kind of got the message over, people. If not, thumbs down.
Yeah,
And we'll see what that means. Right, Karl, do you want to hit us with some questions?
Yes. Sorry, I'm muting myself. First one's from John Bernstein, and he says, "What's wrong with Martinelli? Why can't he ever get a third goal?" Josh, take that. Why can't Martinelli ever get his hat trick?
He's only young, right? I'm just going to be happy he's getting braces every so often. I think it will come. Let's put it that way. He can't get a hat trick every week, otherwise Real Madrid or Barcelona will pinch him off us. So let's keep it level for the moment.
All right, Jason. This is from Junior Gunner. It says a lot that Liverpool didn't care for this match. Klopp was grinning through 90 minutes when his team were 2-1 down. It's a damning indictment that Liverpool 17-year-olds and we bottled it. What are your thoughts? Do you think we bottled it? Well, we know we bottled it today. Is there a reason why we bottled it today?
Yeah, there's a whole host of reasons, isn't there? You know, look, I remember when Arsene used to put the kids out for this game, you know, we were taking the mick out of everybody else. They're in a strong position. Their focus is the league. It's as simple as that. Their focus is winning the Premier League this season. This is a bonus. As far as Klopp's concerned, he's seeing Ryan Brewster getting minutes. He's seeing the boy Thomas getting minutes. Is it Thomas? You know, he's seeing Joe Gomez getting minutes. It's win-win for him, okay? He's top of the league. He's 6 points clear. He's got lovely new teeth. So is Unai, by the way. But, you know, it's all gravy for him, okay? He's seeing a good game of football and he's seeing players develop. So he's got nothing to kind of he's got nothing to worry about, okay? As long as it becomes an injury-free, he wins today. As for Unai's under pressure. You could hear beginning the match, the Mesut Ozil songs being sung. That's like, from all the fans, that's a great big fuck you, Unai. And he knows it. He's under pressure. You could see the difference on the benches. One bench is smiling, enjoying the game. The other one, it's a big deal, okay? It's just a build-up of pressure at the moment. And unfortunately, Unai's either got to turn the ship around or the pressure's going to build and get too much for him. It's as simple as that.
Okay. Julian Summerwatt says, your opinion on Vieira as our next manager. Josh?
Yes, works for me. To be honest, I'd be happy with Vieira as our next manager. City wanted him. You know, they were buttering him up. They had him at one of their sister clubs. He's now at Nice doing an all right job. I mean, the only thing that goes against him is our current manager came straight from the Farmers League, so that could only be maybe a bit of a warning sign.
Didn't his team Nice lose to a Division 2 team today? I want to say.
Potentially.
They lost like 3-1 or something like that.
There's always some odd results in the French league. That's what I will say, because they have to go, or the French Cup, because the bigger side have to go to, they have to play away. So a bit like what we had to today. You know, we've always got to go to the smaller clubs for our fixtures.
15th in the Farmers League. They haven't got a win in the last 5 in the league. You know, they're struggling a bit.
Just a bit.
Let's be honest, it's the Farmers League.
Yeah, I'd say it's more the name that sells it rather than necessarily... I mean, he looks to be a good manager. I'll give him that.
Let's be fair, okay? He's still new to management. It's his second job, okay? City wanted him for his name, okay? That kind of gave them more gravitas on their project, if you know what I mean. You know, you never know. He could come in, they could give him the Arsenal job, and all of a sudden it's a perfect fit and he flies away with it. Or it could be a disaster. It's really difficult, isn't it? You know, there are no certainties in this life or in football. So, you know, I don't know. I think there's a bit too much. I think at times there's a bit too much kudos given to sort of
is it sentiment as well? Like thinking that, like, because as much as Henry was for me a legend, I wouldn't have Henry anywhere near us being our manager. Not at all. Like he didn't prove it in France with Monaco. And I'm not saying that's the be all and end all. I'm not saying that's the only thing that you've got to base it on. But I think Arsenal is a big job, and for him to go from being a coach with Belgium to go to manage Monaco, the failing, and then come to do the Arsenal job, I don't think that's going to be very good.
No, I don't think Henry should be anywhere near a management position. But I think Wenger said that as well, that Henry's a great coach, but he's not a good people person. So he lacks that kind of managerial skill. And I think it's one of those, it's not always, you know, strikers don't always make the best managers. You know, if you go through the division, how many of the current managers played as strikers? A lot of them are midfielders. There's a couple of goalkeepers in there. Defenders. In terms of ex-players. Yeah, and defenders. It's very rarely that you see a striker be a decent manager.
It's difficult as well when you look at how talented he was as a player. You know, for some players, it came very easy. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's like... You look at the likes of Bergkamp. I think he's kind of got the coaching side right. You know, it's exactly the same for the young players we got at the moment. It's for legends going into coaching and management. They've got to build up the minutes. They've got to build up the body of work. Do you know what I mean? They've got to earn the experiences that are going to help them become effective coaches, stroke managers. You know, it's a long road. You know, not often somebody takes to it like a duck to water. You know?
Yeah. So, Carl, a lot of people I'm just reading the chat box at the same time. They're saying that, you know, a lot of people are happy to have Freddie take over as manager for the end of the season.
I'd ask why. The question.
Yeah.
What has he done that proves that he would be a good fit? Because he's a legend, because he's worked with the under 23s. Like, did he win the under 23s league?
Yeah.
No, he didn't. He didn't win the under 23s league last season, did he?
Yeah, I think they did, didn't they?
No. Brighton won the League 2.
Oh,
Brighton won it. Yeah. Sorry.
So, what? So again, there's a question that asks. Like, it would be a shout, but it could be. It could go two ways. It could go maybe the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer way, or it could go the Frank Lampard way, or what Steven Gerrard's doing in up in Scotland. But again, Scotland is it's worse than the French league, so it's hard. It's very hard. You got to take a chance on the manager, and whether you're never going to find a perfect fit. We was blessed with finding Arsene Wenger and having him for so long, and maybe he stayed there a little bit too long. Probably the perfect phrase of he was just there too long, unfortunately. But I don't know. I just don't think Unai works for us, and something's got to change. Whether it will change, who knows? No one knows. With this board, I want him to go. Whether he's going to go before Christmas, who knows? This result might seal it. I think the Xhaka thing might again fate, because the fact that Xhaka hasn't apologized yet, whether he's got anything to apologize for, is a whole other subject. So we'll talk about it on the podcast rather than this forum. But
I'm sorry, but why the fuck should Xhaka apologize to anybody?
You don't think you should apologise at all?
Fuck no.
No.
I've got to be honest with you. Look, I may have a similar temperament to Granit Xhaka, okay? But after all the abuses that I put up with, are those people who've jeered him and booed him going to apologise to him? No, they're fucking not, okay? Move on, get on with it, okay? They're either going to sell him or he's going to stay. But would I bollocks apologise to anybody for that show of shit I saw on Sunday?
No, I agree with you, Jace. If I was going to make any statement, I'd come out and reiterate exactly what I said when I came off the pitch to make it absolutely clear.
I would. I'm sorry, okay? When, we get all these people, I want my captain to stand up for the club, to do this, to do that. Okay, he's getting jeered. What's he supposed to do? He's put up with some dog shit abuse from people, okay? Don't tell me that doesn't take its toll on you. And maybe he should behave a little better, but he's behaved the way he has, okay? I know. And he turned around and said, well, fuck you. And do you know what? Every single person who booed him deserves that. Fuck you, okay? And the manager deserves it as well. He can go fuck himself. I know? Because he's been sold on the river. He's been hung out to dry. Right up, and whatever you want to say about Granit Xhaka, okay, at least he stands in on the pitch and shows up. He may have had a tough season, but there's other people who get away with it on a regular basis. But no, we're going to target Mustafi, we're going to target Granit Xhaka, we're going to target the people we want to target. And it's fucking embarrassing, and it's fucking wrong, okay, and everybody can go fuck themselves. I hope that's clear.
Jason reiterating the words of Granit there. I think a little bit different. I just think that in a place of work, no matter how much abuse you get, and, Jason, if you're at work and you're getting abused, like, are you going to go tell a customer to go fuck themselves? Technically, you're not going to, are you? Because you know that if you did, then there's consequences, right? Yes, I'm very sure you probably do, Jason, but a normal person.
Can I also just say that Karl has just referred to fans as customers?
But they are.
There we go.
You're
the problem.
But they are. They technically are. They go to a game. They pay money to go to a game. They're a customer of Arsenal.
You look at the way that club is set up. We're in there watching the Burnley game, okay? You are a fucking customer nowadays. You're not a fan anymore. You're a customer. And I don't know many of the jobs where you get 60,000 people having a pop at you. I remember watching Aaron Ramsey getting booed.
Hey.
Okay. I remember watching Boué getting booed. And my heart just sank for these guys. And don't get me wrong, we all get caught up in silliness now and again. I'm sure most of the people booing him think, oh, I wish I'd have done that now. I'm sure they do, okay? It's human nature to get caught up in it now and again. But sometimes, okay, sometimes it's right to apologize, and other times it's right to just say, actually, no, I'm not going to. I don't need to put up with that. You saw this. I see people saying, oh, Torreira's got to toughen up. Are you joking? Are you absolutely winding me up? You're seeing the abuse of one guy by 60,000 people, okay, and now somebody else has got to toughen up because he's got an iota of humanity in him. I'm sorry. I think, we don't like snowflakes anymore, Panny. We've got to toughen up. Well, a guy has stood there until 60,000 people have go fuck themselves. If they think they can treat him like that, and I take my hat off to him. I take my hat off to him because he stood up for himself. And you can turn around, you can disagree with me, and you're not wrong in disagreeing with me. You're not wrong, okay? I just think from my perspective, I won't be spoken to like that. I won't. And I'm sorry, I don't think he deserves that. You see Ian Wright giving it large, okay, on the TV. I remember him hanging out the window of Highbury, arguing with Arsenal fans. I'm pretty sure there was some dodgy words said there. There's a lot of people who've got a history of doing stuff like this. Okay? Why put up with it?
Yeah. I agree and I don't agree at the same time. I agree that he shouldn't have to take the abuse 100%. Why should he? He shouldn't have to. No one should, especially what he's done through. However, I still think that there are. I don't think that he helped himself by doing all the cupping of the ears and doing all the gestures. That I don't agree with. And when you're doing that, you kind of bring it onto yourself. So then. Do you know what I mean? It's 6 to 1, half dozen the other.
There's two sides to the story. Nobody's coming out to this smelling roses.
No, hell no. No one's coming out. It's really nice.
But I think now and again, okay, even though okay, I'm not saying he's 100% right. I do think he could have handled it better. Of course I do. But sometimes the bow breaks. He's been abused with his wife and kid in the car. He's taken all the online abuse. This is a build-up of nonsense, okay? And it's every snidey little fucking comment which adds to it. It's like the Mustafi business. It's every snidey, it's Mustafi, what do you expect? It's every snidey fucking comment that adds to this. And don't get me wrong, none of us are innocent in it. I include myself in that, okay? None of us are innocent in this. And yet, it builds up to something like that. And now and again, good for you, I think. I think good for him. Because he stood up in front of all those people and he said, fuck off. I don't need your shit. Fuck off. Club's still got to pay him. What's the problem?
Yeah. One more question and then we'll wrap this up. And I will ask Michael Hanneman's question. So it looks like we're offering counselling to Xhaka. The club should be offering counselling to the fans putting up with this player any longer. All right, we'll brush over that because we've already spoken about this. So I didn't read it properly. So I will ask you one question, both of you, and I don't carpenter it. It's a one-word answer. Do you think Unai will be the Arsenal manager come Christmas? Josh?
Yes.
Jason?
No.
Okay, Josh, take it away.
Cool. Let's finish this off. Big thank you to all three of my guests this evening. So I nearly said 4, but I was including myself in that, and I can't thank myself. I'll do that later in the privacy of my own home. Karl, thank you very much for lasting the whole show. It's been great to have you on.
It's been good. The game actually was very good. The result wasn't so good. So, it was enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. Jace, thank you very much for stepping into the ring, coming in. And it was great to have you on board.
Anything for you, pal.
Absolutely. And finally, I will say a thank you to Ellis, although it was only brief when he joined us. And I will add, I did promise I would mention where our donations will be going this month. And Ellis is a very personal person. He is heading up, or should I say mustaching up, our Movember appeal for this month. With, I believe, me, I'm doing it. If anybody can see, my first ever bot of shaving gel, because I've never had a wet shave ever. I'll be doing that tomorrow. And everybody gets to see the pasty part of my bottom half of my face. I believe Jason Schrader is doing it, and Danny will also be doing it. Fortunately, I think most of us aren't allowed near playgrounds anyway, so don't worry about that. As you say, all donations for the month of November/Movember will be going towards that. And if anybody you know us well from the pod will know there's a couple of causes especially close to our hearts for this year, and why it makes it especially special that we're doing this as well. I know, Jace, if you could grow facial hair, you'd be on board with this as well. You can just pencil one in.
Honestly, I look like a chemo survivor, okay? The beard is terrible. But I'm looking forward to seeing
Fucking hell, Jace.
What?
Don't worry. I'll tell you off air.
Yeah.
I'll tell you off air about that one. Danny, cut that one out.
It's true, though. The thing is, okay, it's I'm looking forward to seeing the bastard love child, okay, of Saddam Hussein and Freddie Mercury. I'm looking forward to that because Elle looks good with the beard and the moustache. I asked him on Facebook the other day, somebody said he looked like, I can't remember who it was, and I said, that app he was doing, which shows what you look like, the celebrities you look like. I said to him, I'm surprised it didn't come up with Saddam Hussein or Freddie Mercury. And something underneath, Maggie Glass says, you're a very handsome boy, Ellis, ignore that, Ellis and his girlfriend were laughing about it. I said, Elle, I think I've upset Maggie Glass says, oh, that's my nan.
Well, on that note, we will also be putting out the link for our Group Movember page as well. That will go out as well shortly, and we will be pushing it all month. Our next appearance, I think, will be a podcast this week at some point. I don't know who's on. I assume it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
But no idea who's on it. It will be a surprise for all of us other than Danny, who will probably be there.
Chris Carpenter's on, and there's 2 surprise guests, and I can't remember who they are.
Well, that's all right. Jace, can you fill us in with who's in the Wolves game, though?
Fuck, it's me and Danny at the moment.
Okay.
It's just me and Danny at the moment.
There we go.
I will be there with Fifey. Ooh.
Oh, yeah, no, you bitch.
Right. As Danny's not here, I'm going to have to tell myself to turn this shit off because it's descended into nonsense. So thank you all, everybody. We've been at Bergkamp Wonderland. Good night.